YouTube, I'm not sure if this counts as a Trade Tuesday. I don't think so. It's only Wednesday. But it started Trade Tuesday last night. So today I'm going out in the car again, as you can probably guess so far. And I'm going to pick up a guitar just now, a Jazzmaster, for my pal to fix. I think it had EMG active pickups in it. He didn't like them. So I think he's bought other pickups, and I'm going to fit them, or I'm going to wire them up anyway. And then I've bought a cheapy Stratocaster. I can't remember the make of it right now. I'll check back in the video in about 5 minutes time, I think, in Rutherglen. So I think it's just a wee black and white Strat. Because it's black, I'm going to be able to paint it. I'm not going to like those two I just did for last night's video, where they were both sort of quite nice condition and tobacco sunburst. They both look quite good. So this one's just black, so I'll be getting buckied. I haven't done a bucky caster in ages. I might even use that my new Switch thing, the 25 sound job. Depends how it turns out. Basically just a cheapy guitar, and then I'm going to drop off that Telecaster, which I've done the video, I've fixed it up. I still don't think I've put any of the videos up for it yet. I needed a rewire. Took ages. One of the reasons I haven't put the video out is because it's like an hour long or something. It's just me shouting at a guitar. So many things were wrong with it. You just never know. I don't know. It's a difficulty in how do you price these jobs. You just price it as, I just assume that I've got to take the whole thing to bits and start again. Which is kind of what I sort of ended up doing. It's alright when there's one or two wires that are a wee bit ropey looking, but when everything kind of looks a bit funky, you just start again. It's the danger, that telly, the pickup switch was melted. I think that's the danger when you get non-solderers in there trying to have a wee go at soldering their guitar. They must hold the soldering iron onto the component for 5 minutes, so it just gets so hot it melts, and it just boils down to it's the same thing. It's always the same soldering, which I mention every time I ever talk about soldering, is you put solder onto the switch and you put solder onto the wire, and then you join the two of them together. If you just hold the wire onto the switch and then just try and attach the solder, you just heat it up and it just doesn't work. It'll never stick. So enough of a rant about that. I'm going to try and find some interesting things if I drive past to take photos of, or maybe not photos, but to spin it round. This is Uddingston I'm going to just now, and then I'm going to Rutherglen. Probably between Rutherglen and centre of town. I might end up driving down the middle of Sauchiehall Street, so maybe that'll be interesting, sort of. Don't know. Anyhow, I was planning to. I wondered why I hadn't started this video yet. It's because I was going to wait until we drove past my favourite named Chinese restaurant, or is it a curry house? Whatever one. It's called the Shat Inn, and I just think that's a hilarious name for a food place. It's like, how was your dinner? Well, it tasted like somebody shat in it. Yes. So translations always come in. Shatin's probably the guy's name, or it probably means something else in Chinese or Indian or something like that. But in Uddingston, has someone shat in your dinner? Yeah. I'm going to have to keep it going now. It's only another couple of hundred yards away. I just have to try and think of some way of padding out the run time for another minute. I can see it up ahead. Wow, it's quite difficult to try and try to blatantly paddle for time. So I think that's it there. There, how did your dinner taste? It was fine, but I think somebody shat in it. part 1 done. Picked up the Jazzmaster or the Jaguar, whatever it is, I'll find out when I open the case. In Uddingston, I'm now going to try and find my way to Rutherglen, and my sat-nav decided to lose its signal. It worked all the way here. I had the sat-nav on, and it's an old one. So obviously it worked all the way to going where I was going, and then about a minute before I got there it lost the signal. So now I've got to get from somewhere that I know how to get to somewhere I don't really know how to get to, and I'm just going to sort of guess, and I've got 15 minutes to get there. Yeah, so interesting. I might get lost. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to basically, if I just go back up onto this motorway and go on the I don't even know what the motorway's called. Ah well, bound to be fun. Right, I'm sure this Glasgow M8, that'll do it. I think Rutherglen's in Glasgow. It is. It's the sort of south side. It's like going to two places I know how to get to, but getting not in this order. Okay, that looks pretty good. The old road. Now I'm assuming there's going to be a roundabout and still no GPS signal. If worst comes to worst, I'm going to have to use my super tinky phone once I'm in Rutherglen at all to find out exactly whereabouts. I had to be looking Google Maps, and it basically just told me to, it's just not that far off the motorway. Right, rather than just watch me get lost, pause this. So part 2 done. That's me. Rutherglen wasn't that difficult to find. Sat-nav didn't work, my phone did. Found it quite easily. Lovely woman. It's a Legacy Strat I bought, and it came in a gig bag, which is nice. And she flung in one of those cheapy leads you get free with guitars and a wee tuner. So it's always good when you get wee bonuses. But when I saw the gig bag, I was like, yeah, because I just don't have enough gig bag for all my guitars. So just now what I'm doing is I'm just, rather than looking anything up, I'm just following signs for city centre. So I might get a wee bit of a tour of Glasgow, or a bit of a Glasgow, I don't really know. I don't really know where I am just now. Somewhere between Rutherglen and town. Yeah. Don't know. A bit of a tour, I suppose. What's this place? Red Tenements, all of Glasgow. Yeah. This might be quite uninteresting. I might move it out until I see something interesting. Yeah, so just missed almost a car crash there, just about 10 seconds after I turned off the camera last time. I'm now, I think that's Glasgow Green. There's a sign there that says city centre going right, so I'm going to go there and just wing it. I'm not really in a rush anymore. I was a bit of a rush to get to Rutherglen because I said I was going to be there at 1 o'clock, and I got there at 5 past, so that counts as making it on time. I told Tony I'd be in Blitzkrieg about 1:30, so I've got plenty of time. Let's see where I end up. Never been here before. Glenhead Street. Don't know. People Palace. Do I want to go that way? Probably not. No, I think I want to go this way. And hopefully I'm going to recognise something soon. City centre. Left. Do I know where we are? This looks very familiar. Yeah. Do I want to go up that way? Doesn't really matter. I think this, if I'm right, this goes along Park. I'm about to pass Parkhead, which worries me because I think I passed Parkhead a minute ago, so I think I might have done a big loop. But I know where we are now. I just can't. I've definitely sometimes go up that road, but where that road goes, I can't actually remember. Forsyth Glazing. That's where we got the balustrades for House I Did in Dunoon, which I did a video of at one point. Where I was doing my best Neil Oliver impression before I realised what Neil Oliver was, and now I don't like him. My mum used used to say I looked like him until he showed his true colours, and then I don't like him anymore. So I don't like that thing. Oh, if I'm right, this is the Barras, isn't it? Yeah, it is the Barras, which will be closed because it's. Do I go this way so I can show you the big Barrowland sign? I might as well. So this is me just. The Barras is in here on the left. I think there are some shops that are open like during the week and stuff, but generally no. All boarded up. But the Barras is also, not only is it like I suppose you'd call it a flea market, it's also a gig venue. Or that there is the Glasgow Barrowland Ballroom, which someone was talking to me about the other day, telling me that the floor is actually suspended for ballroom dancing and stuff like that. So what we're doing here is, if I can get into the right here, there is the Glasgow Barrowland famous gig venue. Looks like a bit of a shithole, I'll be honest, in this area. So I'll just go to the high street. But so the Barras, I saw. Let's just go through some of the bands I've seen in the Barras then. There's actually a walkway thing on the left here that's right, this is closed. It's got all the gigs up until, I don't know, for many years kind of written in paving slabs on the ground, but it didn't put them in order, so you have to walk along the whole thing to see which gigs you were at. My first ever gig was at the Barras. It was Primal Scream. I didn't like it. Also, I think maybe my second gig at the Barras anyway was the Australian Doors. I didn't like it. But I did see Ozzy Osbourne when I was 17 in the Barras, and it was awesome. He had Geezer Butler, which I didn't know at the time. Geezer Butler playing bass, and I was just amazed that I think he started off with Children of the Grave, and by the time it got to the singing, I'd already done myself right up against the barrier at the front. And Ozzy came out throwing buckets of water, and I got a bucket of water in the face from Ozzy from about 6 inches away. What a gig! What a gig! More recently, I'm trying to think the best bands I've seen. I saw Priest in there not that long ago, a couple of years ago. I saw the last gig I was at was Baby Metal in there. Possibly one of the best gigs I've ever been. Well, possibly the best gig. Definitely one of the best gigs was the Baby Metal one. Just because it was in Glasgow. Oh, come on! Come on! It's fucking green lights everywhere. Oh, I think I might have just sworn quite badly. This might have to be a large profanity. It's like, if you don't know where you're going, don't just stop in the middle of a junction and think about it. Commit to something. Yeah, I might beat that out. I wonder how technically difficult that would be. I might make a point of that. Probably, this is me just going up the called the High Street. Not showing you. Whoever this, I think it's a woman, doesn't know where she is, and is instead of stopping to have a look or think about anything, is just going hanging. There is which is I've seen a few gigs in there. Have I played in there? Yes, I have. I played in there with Jessie Ray. One of the last gigs we did, when I seem to remember, we did The Senator. I think it's the only time we ever played it. Maybe it was our last ever gig with Jessie. We did The Senator, and I remember there was an awful lot of swapping about going on, because it kind of didn't really have any bass or guitars. It was mostly keyboards. So me and Peg kind of swapped. We both had guitars on our backs. I think for the middle bit of the song, the three of us were on guitar. Well, for the start bit, I was in bass, he was in guitar, Michael was in keyboard, and then in the middle bit we were all on, or two of us in guitar and one on keyboard, and then for the end I think Peg had a guitar solo. It was fun. It was definitely an interesting experience. I bought remembering stupid things, funny how things you remember. I bought a Hand of the King pin thing. Oh, this stupid woman's just, yeah, don't need to look at me like that. I couldn't move because that person in front of me coming across has been very sexist saying that. Just always find to see when you get somebody who can't drive, who generally can't do roundabouts, they can't do junctions, they can't do traffic lights. It's kind of everything, so you've just got a big question mark over what they're going to do next, because obviously they won't indicate, they'll suddenly slam the brakes on, they'll accelerate away, they'll turn down a wrong way street, etc. Right, I'll give up, stop ranting just now. The wee bit of the road rage building in, even though it's nice weather, and oh, this might be for people from else. Yes, that's what Doctor Who had in. No police box. We've got them here. Right, if I think about this, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? Am I still going this way? I'm still going this way. Yeah. If I go left or right, that brings me to the top edge. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. That's good enough. And this is the very bit of junction where after, must have been that gig, Jesse was in his Land Rover in front of us, we were in the car behind, and he was a couple of cars in front, and at these lights, something, I know what happened, basically something fell down the side of his seat, which happens in my Land Rover as well, so the only way to get at that is to open the door. So Jesse got out, opened the door of his Land Rover, waved an apology to the car behind, and got back in the car, and I was just wondering, what were those people thinking? You know, just sitting there, you're sitting at lights, and it's like, oh, that guy in front stopped, and then out comes a claymore kilted helmeted warrior. I don't know when, I don't think he ever takes a helmet off. One of those things you wonder. I wonder how far on the way down to the borders. That must have been a long drive from him. I think he might have been. I think it's one of his son. I bet his son. He used to bring. What was his name? I think Clinton. He used to bring Clinton to all his gigs. Cool guy. He used to help set up and stuff like that. And one of the gigs at the 13th Note, he brought his other son, Kieran, who had come up all the way up from the border, sitting in the back of a Land Rover. So he probably never even had a seat. No, I'm sure he would have had a seat. But it's quite funny. He was a funny guy. He was immediately funny, actually, even though I'd never met him before. It was like opening to unload stuff out the van. Oh, there's the police. I will not be pressing any buttons on the phone, on the camera. Pretend that I'm not actually making a video when I'm driving through town. That's the first thing I did when I opened up the back of the Land Rover to take stuff out. And I was like, oh, man, there's someone in here. You come all the way up to the borders, and he came out and he's like, aye man, wow, papa. Funny guy. From the 36 of it. These speed bumps are absolutely huge. It's funny how you always remember funny wee roads that you drove at some point for some reason. They just kind of stick in your head to remember where they are. This is me now at Glasgow Caledonian University, which I went to. BMW garage. And the carriage just bus station down the hill on the left there. Yep, I'm not going to go talk all the way in. And I'm back, just been to Blitzkrieg shop. So yeah, I might take a slightly different route home. I think I will. I'll go on a special detour. It's been 8 days I've been salivating over getting a Super 2 Kentucky Fried Mule deals. So assuming the place isn't going to be that busy. It's now 2:20, so maybe it won't be still busy at lunchtime, I hope. Yeah, so in St Tony, dropped off that Telecaster, rabbited on for an hour as I normally do. Got another few sets of strings and a bass. Yeah, because I always get these things. I think I saw it last time I was in a vintage Music Man style bass that I think looks like it's been sitting in a garage for 20 years. Very, 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 very rusty. Sort of taking that off and I'll see if I can do it up and make it work. Maybe quite a good video just to see what sort of state I can get it back from. I mean, obviously you can just buy new parts. All the pots spin, so I'd imagine all the electrics are gone. I hope the pickup works. I was also thinking it might be quite a good Bucky bass, because it's got the circular scratch plate in the middle, so it's pretty easy. Just paint paint the guitar green, paint the body green, paint the scratch plate yellow, and then paint the pickup red. Stick a Bucky label on the headstock, sorted. That should be pretty good. Or maybe see doing some fancy wiring in it. But I'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. You look at things like the bridge is just so rusty, it might not be savable, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you when I get home. Yay! So 2 Zinger Tower meals that I'm going to eat myself. I'm sorry, Civet, I'm not going to be getting thinner any day soon. Did have to wait for ages, and obviously I had the embarrassment of saying, hello, can I pay for one of these with a packet of crisps? But I got it. So the plan is just drive home, eat the chips on the way home, and because the burger won't be too bad if it gets a bit cold. I should only be 5 minutes away. Yeah, so I'll probably continue back on this video, show you the guitars I got in. I don't know if I should probably not, it's a bit like a Trade Tuesday video, but I think I'll just put it out today anyway. Got a couple of guitars to do videos for the rest of the week, so trying to mix it up a bit, but really having no plan doesn't help. I should really try and work things out. Just, you never know about these things. I can't say, oh, I think on Thursday I'll go and buy a guitar. It's like, depends when they show up. That's how you get guitars cheap. You get them cheap by just constantly looking on Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree and then just dropping everything and going and getting them. At least that's the plan. So, 2 box meals, which is ridiculous. 2 drinks. I got Pepsi and Sprite, or Pepsi and 7-Up, and I got I got options I didn't know I had. One of them came with a hot wing, or one came with 2 hot wings and one came with a something. And I got sweet corn with one of them and beans with the other. So hopefully it's. I like the idea of going and, okay, £7.20 is actually not that, is actually quite a lot to pay for lunch, unless it's pure massive, which I'm hoping it will be, and I'm hoping there's no way I can eat it and end up eating the other burger like before dinner, just cold. Rocky, catch you later. Okay, so I'm now pure starving because I haven't actually started my KFC yet, but talking to one of my pals this morning, he was saying, I mentioned yesterday on a couple of wee amps I should maybe make a Bucky amp again, and then just I was thinking about that there, and I was realising my portable amp, a wee car amp here, which I didn't paint orange, is orange, so I'm going to paint that like Iron Brew because it's already orange, been previously painted orange. So I'm going to paint the front with white and blue, I think, and then it'll make it a wee Iron Brew amp, which will be better. Not that I'm ever going to sell that, this wee thing's dead handy. It's tiny, it's got a belt clip on it, and it's got, I would say clean, but not really clean, and overdrive. So what else do you want? A 4-way switch as well, which is weird, so it's on, off, on, overdrive, off, whatever that means. GT1000, fantastic. Rocket. And I'm back, ready for what's in the bag. So, we've got a Zinger. Oh, I'm so hungry. Zinger Tower meal, sweet corn, burger, chips, and this is the one that's got 2 hot wings. Nope, it's just 1 wing of some sort, and I'm only winding up anyway. I'm too hungry to. I want to get stuck into them, so I'll quickly run through the guitars. This is one I went to pick up. Came in a nice gig bag. That's lovely. And came with one of these wee old-fashioned tuners, but always handy to have, and a cheapy lead. Oh, and an Allen key. Yeah, that's always good. Anything else? It's always good check. Oh, and it's got a tremolo bar. Yay! Looking in gig bags is always great fun. I don't generally look through people's gig bags when I've got a guitar in to get fixed. So here we go. Oh, it's got a strap on it as well. Good stuff. Yep, so Legacy Stratocaster, been hanging on the wall. It kind of looks alright. Actually, it could maybe do with a bit of a tuning and a bit of a clean, but all there, all in all, going to be a decent Buckycaster. Legacy's one of those makes, kind of sits alongside another few I've got, where they're not exactly top tier, but they are. You can make it. I can make it work. I can make it into a decent guitar. Green body, yellow scratch plate, red pickups. Probably some sort of variation on that switch I've been doing, the 25 sound switch, something like that. Yeah. So there's a wee project. Quite easy. This is, I think it's a Squier. It's in a Fender bag. Maybe it's actually, maybe it's got a Fender. This is the one. Oh, it's a nice colour, isn't it? So here we go. Here is a Squier Jazzmaster. I don't think the mirror pickguard is original. I think he's done that. It's also got Warman P90 sized humbuckers in it. Humbucker sized P90s in it. And one of these, I had this in one of his other guitars. Yeah, he was reckon it needs a bit of a setup. The strength, the action is awful high, and the bridge is pure nailed to the deck. So maybe some sort of neck shim involved. This is an amazing colour. I don't think it's really shown up there, but it's a sort of a pearlescent surf green. So this should be an interesting video. Three-way switch, volume and tone. I think that was all he wanted. He's a man who likes his phase switches, so I don't know if he maybe want a phase switch in it. Yeah, it needs set up. That's okay. I think it's partly to do with the fact he's put this different type of bridge on it. It's kind of it's sitting a wee bit higher. So the two kind of options I've got to get this bridge lower are to angle grind a bit off the bottom of the bridge, or stick a bit of cardboard behind the neck. I think I'll be going for the bit of cardboard behind the neck rather than cut it up. If it was mine, I'm not sure exactly what I would do. But that looks pretty good. Going into the to-do pile, and then the final one. I'm totally trying to nab this. This is a bass bag. Totally trying to nab it off Tony. This is the last two guitars he's given me in this same bag, so hopefully I just keep the bag. So this is yeah, somewhat on the manky side of things. It's also, as you'll notice, it's a left-handed. To be totally honest, I think you could totally just string this right-handed and it'd be absolutely fine. Just sitting with it. The controls don't seem to get in the way on a bass the way they do. So this might be a left-handed Bucky bass. I am going to wash my hands so before I have any food, because these are pretty manky. One of the tuners is gone. The other three seem alright. Basically this thing just needs more a bit of a clean. This is the sort of thing that you pick up in a junk shop or something. I had to replace all the screws and wee things like that, but I'm sure the neck looks alright. It looks like a wee bit of a backbone on it actually. But so minimum of what's needed. I might get away with the saddles, maybe, or I might have to put other saddles on. All the knobs, all spin, so they're all goosed. I doubt that output jack's salvageable. I hope the pickup is, although a Music Man style pickup isn't really that expensive. And the neck looks alright. I had one of these before for the last Trade Tuesday, but it was a right-handed one, and it was black. That was a really good bass. This one, I don't know. See, the thing is, it doesn't really feel. When you set it like this, it doesn't feel wrong. Maybe it's because it's got the tuners on the bottom and there's one on the top, so it doesn't feel odd. It just feels like a bass. So I think I'll probably make it as a left-handed, as the first and possibly only left-handed Bucky bass. But Don't know. Anyway, my stomach is rumbling. So, catch you later. I'm going to now sit and eat 2 Kentucky Fried Chickens, or 1.5.